Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Freeways flooded, neighborhoods underwater, and what appears to be tornado damage in Macomb and Oakland counties. Thanks for staying with us this morning. DTE is reporting more than 120,000 customers are without power right now. Most of those outages are in Oakland County. Good morning, I'm Priya Mann.
Good morning, I'm Grant Herms. We're live this morning in Armada after a possible tornado touched down just about where I'm standing here in front of this office. I'm going to have Tim here take a look at these trees because this is the damage that was left behind from those high winds and severe weather last night. You can see these large branches torn off what used to be massive trees, and then you can see this path of damage torn all the way through here, coming all the way through this building. The roof of the building here behind me has just slid off the backside as whatever came through here barreled all the way through. I want to show you some pictures from last night as well. This is about a block behind where we're standing right now as those high winds and heavy storms and heavy rain came down here in northern Macomb County. And all of that crushing cars and homes, sending debris flying all over the place, trees down left and right as you drive here along what are the main neighborhoods of Armada here along Main Street and Fulton. One of the folks we talked to last night said that they quickly took shelter and just barely got out of the path of that storm.
My phone went off for the alert, and I looking out this way and I saw power lines blowing, and then I saw debris take off up in the air, and I told my wife grab her cat and get in the bathroom because that's the most inner part of the building. Just got the door closed and I heard a big thump. That's when the roof fell in. Or I couldn't get out because there was bricks that had fallen down onto the porch from the roof.
And you're looking at what used to be a roof of the building that we've been standing in front of here all morning long. We're trying to get some more information about just the strength and severity of this. We talked to the Macomb County executive earlier this morning in our first half an hour who said the National Weather Service will be out here sometime this morning to assess this damage and determine if this was actually a tornado. Priya?
And Grant, just listening to that interview, I mean, this was a fast-moving storm.
It was. You heard him. He say he got the alert.
Yeah.
They ran into the bathroom. They got their cat, and luckily they just got there in the nick of time. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of folks, that they saw this on TV. They got the alert, and they were able to get out of the way of this just in time.
Yeah, and thankfully nobody was injured in that doctor's office behind you. All right, thank you, Grant, live reporting and anchoring from Armada Township this morning. And it wasn't just Macomb. A tornado may have touched down in Oakland County as well.
And our Mara McDonald is in White Lake Township. Mara, you're seeing a lot of the same stuff that I'm seeing here in Armada where you are.
Well, Grant, here's the situation. At least in White Lake Township, there are massive amounts of big trees that have been uprooted. But if you drive around northeast Oakland County, there's this kind of limb damage all over the place. Substantial rain came down in Pontiac, Kego, Waterford, to the point that intersections immediately welled up with water, and unsuspecting drivers got caught, stalled out, and then had to wait for a tow. West Bloomfield had high winds and heavy rain, and the tornado sirens were activated for Oakland around 8 o'clock last night when a tornado was spotted over Clarkston heading east. Now, as far as the National Weather Service is concerned, that tornado did not touch down, but it was seen heading east. And that is where the vast majority of Oakland County damage is. Big portions of White Lake and Heartland have no power. And if you take a drive down Highland Road, you can see that it's a whole lot more than just trees that came down. Actual pieces of building just peeled off and flew away. Back here live, if you talk to people on the ground here in White Lake, they'll tell you they did see rotation. So they're waiting to hear something definitive out of the National Weather Service today on exactly what caused all this damage here. And, you know, the sun is finally starting to come through. One of the issues that police, fire, DTE, consumers have all had out here all night is the fog out here was so dense. I mean, talk about air you wear. You couldn't see anything. So finally this is burning off, and I think we're going to get a better picture of exactly how bad this is. We're live in White Lake Township tonight. Not tonight. This morning. I'm Mara McDonald. Back to you.
It's certainly been a long night for Mara and for you, Grant. Thank you, Mara. And as she just mentioned, Oakland County, one of the hardest hit areas with a possible tornado in White Lake Township.
And on the line with us this morning is Rob Seeley. He's the Emergency Management Director there in Oakland County. Rob, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
And Rob, what are you hearing about a possible tornado?
Okay, so as far as tornadoes go, we're not exactly sure. Like Mr. Hackle said earlier, we're not going to know until the National Weather Service actually comes out and surveys it on the ground tomorrow or today.
For sure, it's going to be a very busy morning. You know, we just heard Mara talking about the fog, adding another layer to the challenge as emergency crews were trying to respond all over the place.
Yeah, and with all the trees down, it's really hard to see in the roadways and see what debris is out there. So that's a message to all the people out there, too, just to be very careful if you're driving around the northern part of Oakland County, because there are trees still down, and in the darkness and the fog, some of that hasn't been cleaned up yet.
And Rob, how can people help the crews that are out there this morning? I can imagine that the emergency crews in Oakland County are feeling stretched very thin after all of the recent storms we've had.
Yeah, they really are. And one of the ways that people can really help is to stay away from down lines, to stay away from down trees, because that's a danger that they are unaware of. You don't know what else could be hidden under those trees. So let the emergency crews handle that stuff, and just be very careful around any of those down wires and down trees.
You know, of course, DT and Consumers Energy crews are going to be very busy this morning. You know, considering the storms that we've had over the past month and historic flooding, how do you feel like our pumping systems and our systems overall, our infrastructure, handled this massive storm last night?
Well, DTE was out there very early after the storm, making sure that all those pumping stations had power, making sure that they were working and trying to get the flooding under control. We got so much water that it was really hard for that water to go anywhere, because we've gotten so much water recently. So Pontiac and West Bloomfield and several of those communities that got a lot of water, water has nowhere to go. So it took a while for that water to go down, but I think that is under control now. The majority of the problems are the down trees and down wires.
And Rob, for those folks, whether it's Pontiac or whether it's in White Lake Township where Mara was for us this morning, where can they go for help in Oakland County?
Well, in White Lake Township, they were setting up a Red Cross shelter for the people that are affected by the storms there. Most of the places, their local law enforcement or local cities are going to have information about that. So just contact them. If they need help, reach out to them, or they can reach out to Oakland County Emergency Management as well.
Well, we know you've been very busy. Thank you so much. I know it's been a busy night for your crews overnight. Thank you for taking a few moments to talk with us this morning.
And thank you.
And a confirmed waterspout touched down in Port Austin, and these are photos. It happened Saturday afternoon around 4:30. It was moving at 45 miles an hour. Weather spotters confirmed it was moving onshore. The National Weather Service says it had the potential to damage homes and vehicles. And let's turn things over to Andrew. It was certainly a busy night in that part of the country and very busy in Oakland and Macomb counties as well.
Priya and Grant, to say the least, with all the reports of possible tornadoes touching down, straight line wind damage that was occurring, and the National Weather Service is going to check out at least 4 places before tomorrow is over with, starting with this morning, including Armada, also around White Lake where our Mara McDonald is, and same thing to the west of Flint in the Flushing area, and where that reported waterspout was photographed and videoed. You can see that here up toward Port Austin. So 4 areas need to be surveyed by the National Weather Service, and much of that work commencing today. We're out there right now. We're looking at temperatures that are starting in the low 70s. We still have some fog that's around the area, and look at the amount of rain that fell yesterday as well. Easily between 1 and 3 inches across most of southeast Michigan. Highland over 3.5 inches, and we're still seeing seeing high standing water in places. Mara and Grant were mentioning the fog that is thick but is slowly dissipating, thankfully. That being said, there's still a dense fog advisory out until 10 o'clock this morning. Once that fog dissipates, the sun reappears, and the good news is no severe thunderstorms for today. In fact, no thunderstorms or showers of any kind. Just intense sunshine. Higher temperatures, though. It is going to be a scorcher today with highs near 90 degrees, 89 degrees by 4 p.m. Humidity will be down to tolerable levels, but when you have temperatures near 90, you got to stay hydrated and you have to stay cool. Once again, make sure you stay safe as many folks recover and continue to clean up with all that damage that we just saw in those live shots and also being recorded from last night from those surveys. Would not be surprised, hasn't been confirmed yet, if those in fact were tornadoes that touched down here in southeast Michigan. Back over to you.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And taking a look at some of our storm pins submitted by viewers, check out this picture of lightning taken from across the border in Windsor. And more storm damage in Armada where a possible tornado touched down. We're seeing plenty of pictures of trees down in Royal Oak as well and flooded streets in Waterford. If you would like to submit a photo of damage, you can visit our storm pins page on clickondetroit.com. And there you'll also find the very latest on power outages and more right here on the homepage at clickondetroit.com. Well, there's still so much more coming up on Local 4 News today. Our Grant Herms is field anchoring from Armada Township this morning.